Welcome back to another video. In today's video we are sowing maize for 2025. This year we're doing something a bit different. We're putting the maize in with the ERTH AGRISEEDER. I'll do more talking on that later once we actually get to sowing the maize. But so far what we've done, you would have seen the dung spreading video, and then I ploughed the field with the press. With the two fields, we're putting in 8 acres of maize this year, 2 4-acre fields. And obviously because it's going in with the ERTH AGRISEEDER, it is open maize, not under plastic. But so after I ploughed it with the press, we then had the demo Vaderstad carrier, and I gave it a few runs of that. I got 3 runs with the Vaderstad carrier. A Vaderstad carrier 420, so that's a disc harrow with paddles and a big steel packer on the back. It's done quite a nice job, and we would have nearly sown into it, but we just want to give the maize the best chance to grow. So I've got the major stone barrier on now, and I'm just heading up. I've just stone buried in there, that's for baby leaf that my dad's going to sow today, and I'm going up now to start stone burying the maize ground. And then the plan is to give it another run with the carrier after I stone bury it, just to tighten the ground back down a bit, because the ERTH AGRISEEDER doesn't really like fluffy ground because it works on pressure, so it kind of needs a bit of a bite in the ground, so it needs to be a bit solid, but we want it nice and fine so there's good seed soil contact. So that is the current plan at the minute. It's a lovely day here in Wicklow. It is meant to get up to 19 or 20 degrees today. I'm hoping to mow our forage rye today as well. Just waiting on a contractor to see what the plan is, but hopefully that will be dropped today, so that will probably be the next video you see after this. And then we'll probably get on to sowing beet. Most years we kind of get the beet in first and then the maize, but this year the ERTH AGRISEEDER is still on demo, but they want it back, so we're under a bit of pressure to get it sown. But you can't blame the ERTH lads for wanting the drill back, because they have had it for quite a while. But hopefully this maize goes well, but I'll probably talk a bit more later on in the video. So we'll look at a bit of drone footage of me discing with the Vaderstad carrier, so big thanks to Cooney Furlong for that demo, and then maybe a bit of drone footage of me stone burying, and then I'll go back to talking, and I'll be up with the ERTH AGRISEEDER and we'll show you the modifications we've made and what the plan is and why we're using the ERTH AGRISEEDER and all that good stuff. But that's enough talking for me for this bit of the video, so we'll go look at some drone footage.
Forever away. Yeah, with it on, hit it things aren't meant to be fair. I know you left me down and out, and now the river is red. Got that hit on your head. Should've buried your dead. Should've listened to me and said, oh, how little you know. You better watch out, my friend. When it goes dark, you better lay low. When it goes dark, you better lay low. Show me to have a second opinion. You're gonna miss and hear the word. Heart inside. You better hope you win. You better hope I'm blind. You better lay. You should've kept up on your rent. Should've been there when you said I depended on you over and over again. You think I'll sit here and pretend I don't forgive, I don't forget. Let me tell you this, my friend. You better lay
You join us here now in front of the ERTH AGRISEEDER after sowing our maize on the 30th of April. We have it all washed down now, as you can see, ready to go back on demo with ERTH Engineering tomorrow morning. They're coming to pick it up. But I just want to have a quick talk about it before it goes back. So in the end we went and we sowed 8 rows of maize with this 3-metre drill. So the first thing we had to do was block off the pipes, which I got footage of. We just put little blocks, or not blocks, little styrofoam tubes up into it and then taped them over. You'll see that in the footage. And then these ones with the green zip ties are the ones the seed is actually going out. So we've 8 with green zip ties on them. And then those green zip ties correlate down to the cultures at the bottom, or the discs. So there's a green zip tie on this outside one, and there's 7 others in there with zip ties on them. So it was simple enough to calibrate the drill. All you have to do is, it's the same as ever, you just get the amount of seed coming out of the hopper as you want and you weigh it. So all it was doing was it blow it up into the distribution head, and instead of going out 24 pipes, it only went out 8 pipes. And it actually seemed to space the seed really well, but we won't know really until it all starts growing. But another reason we were using the ERTH drill for sowing the open maize is because of this secondary hopper right here. This secondary hopper allowed us to put starter fertilizer down with the seed, and that is the main reason we went for this drill over sowing it with the Samco drill that the likes of Cullen's have, because we can use the starter fertilizer. So we had it going down there with the seed into the seed bed. So hopefully that will make an improvement on germination and growth in the early stages. But we've had some lovely weather here to get the maize in, and it seemed to go all right. We might be a little bit unhappy with the seed bed. It could have been a little bit too tight for our liking, but we learned, and maybe it'll be all right. We'll see once the maize gets up. But next year we probably won't pack the ground in as hard as we did this year. There was just no need for it. We should have left it fluffier, but we learned our lesson. So hopefully it'll all come up. But I won't end the video here. I'll end the video hopefully in about 4 weeks time when the maize is all up and looking well. But we won't know till then, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. But that's it from the earth drill here. Now I have one more video on it from earlier in the spring of us stitching in grass, but you might have already seen that. You probably will. So if you want to go back and look at that video, you can. But that is it for today, so we'll just leave it off here, and I'll pick the camera back up in probably 4 weeks time when we're out in the field, and we'll go look at the maize, and hopefully it's all doing well. Now that we're coming to the end of the video, we're up here in the maize field, or one of the 2 maize fields from this year. So it is now the 13th of June, the day before this video is going up. The maize has been in the ground 6 weeks, and as you can see where I'm stood now, it does not look too bad. It'll be coming up to knee high by the 1st of July, so that's nice to see. Or we've kind of forgot, I don't know if it's the 4th of July or the 1st of July, but it's early in July anyway, so it's not looking too bad here. This variety we're studying at the minute is Resolute, the same variety we sowed last year, and we also sowed Prospect. The Prospect is definitely not looking as strong as the Resolute, which is the same thing we saw last year. The Prospect really struggled up on the bank, and the Resolute down in the more sheltered area of the field was going quite nicely, but we just thought that was the field. Last year we thought the bank had the effect on the Prospect. But this year it's sown side by side, and there's a perfect example. That headland looks brutal, to be honest. We're not awfully happy with that. But you can see right beside it, and the Resolute is really not looking too bad. Obviously that is double sowed, so it's not a perfect comparison, but we'll go look at the other headland further over in the field, and you'll see them side by side, drilled exactly the same, and the Resolute is miles ahead of the Prospect. So we can't really understand why the Resolute would be going harder, because it is meant to be the latest, or the later maturing variety. Prospect is meant to be in the middle. It's not an early, it's not a late, it's somewhere. It's meant to be the safe one. It's meant to be the one that you can't really lose with, but by the looks of things, Resolute is really pushing on this year, and Prospect is struggling. And obviously, as I was talking about earlier in the video, this is sown twice as dense as normal maize. So you can see there's so much more maize in the rows, but the seed rate is the same. We haven't gone any higher on the seed rate. We're still at 44,000 seeds per acre, so it's no higher than our usual seed rate, and we probably could have gone higher with seed rate, but it's all to see how the crop will mature in the end. There's no point saying now that we should be at a higher seed rate, because you don't know what the cob is going to do, and you don't know the strength of the plant, because last year we had some maize double sowed, and where it was really dense, it actually was very weak, and it lay over on the stronger maize. It didn't go flat because the maize beside it was strong enough. So you want to be careful with that, because especially here where it's been double sowed, where it's crossed over, this maize could come up and be very weak. But it's all part of the experiment. You have to see how it's going to work, and we'll know better for next year. And the other thing we have to talk about is the big gaps you can see in it. So we'll walk over here there's a perfect example of a massive gap that we don't really want to see. And as you can see, there's a maize plant there, and it's probably only been washed in by the rain and it's come up in maybe the last 10 days, and this is sown 6 weeks. So the problem here is this where the tire track of the tractor was, and with the earth drill being a disc drill, it just didn't have the lift to take the compaction back out. So we talked to the earth engineering lads, and we're working on a solution. We're working on putting a tracker racing bar on the front of our drill that we've bought, so hopefully next year when we sow our maize we will have none of this, because as you can imagine we are missing quite a bit of maize in all those rows. Over there where we started the video, it's not as bad because it wasn't stone buried, so there was more even pressure on the drill, so we believe that's why the maize looks more consistent and there's no tire tracks, because the ground was a bit harder, so the drill was pushing evenly, whereas here it was really tight under the tire track, and there where the maize is, it wasn't as tight because there was no compaction there before. And another thing we're thinking that might be the reason the Resolute is doing better than the Prospect is the Resolute is meant to be a slightly bigger seed, and they say a slightly bigger seed will have more energy than the smaller seed, because the usual rule is the smaller the seed, the shallower you sow, because it doesn't have as much energy to get up. Whereas with a big seed you can bury it like your bean seed that you'd sow in the spring and you're ploughing it down. You want to get it away from the crows, and it's a big seed so it'll come back up. It's kind of the same story with the maize. You can usually bury it and it'll come up, but maybe we were too deep with it. But that Resolute doesn't look too bad, but the Prospect on the other hand, it isn't looking 100%. We're not awfully happy, but you learn, and next year hopefully we won't have the same problem. But we'll go over and we'll look now at the side-by-side comparison, and you'll really see what the Prospect is doing and what the Resolute is doing. This right here is our side-by-side comparison of the Prospect and the Resolute. That row there going down, that is Resolute, and this row that isn't even really here is the Prospect. And I hope the camera can see the colour difference between the two. That Resolute is a lovely rank green, and you look over at that Prospect and there's nearly a yellow tinge off it. It's that pale, and there's no difference in the treatment. They've both got the same fertilizer, same dung, same everything. Obviously it's the same feel, like there's nothing. It's got the same preparation, and it's enough off the headland that you'd say the trees aren't affecting it. I know right in at the ditch it's unfair because it is right under the trees, but out here the trees shouldn't be affecting it. That couldn't be a factor. But you can see there, it's side by side. The Resolute is so much stronger than the Prospect, and they're sown the same day by the same drill. The only thing is the Resolute was a bit shallower here, and as you can see there is a gap here from the tire track, so we're still not, the track eradicators will get rid of that, and there's a massive gap there also. Track eradicators would help with that, but just it's hard to know why the Prospect is struggling so much, because that Resolute, if the two fields were like that, we'd be a lot happier, but they're not. The Prospect definitely is struggling a bit, but at least both fields are clean. As you can see, there's very little weeds, a small bit of grass weeds, but we don't mind that too much. We went out twice. We put half rate Calaris on it, and we went out once, looked at the weeds, said they've definitely been hit but they're not fully gone, so we went out again at half rate. We went half rate to try not hurt the maize plant too much, and as you can see that maize isn't struggling at all, and it's meant to warm up now next week, so hopefully it'll keep pushing on, and we'll probably, if it does push on quite a bit next week, in 2 weeks time it'll get its foliar feed. You're aiming to feed it about as close to when the rows meet as possible, when you can drive in without destroying much of the crop. Obviously because we've sowed at 37.5 centimeter spacing, we are probably going to end up driving over a bit, but we might try line it up that you're spraying in where there's no maize. We'll see how it works with the sprayer. When we did the weeds we just went with the GPS because it was early on, so when you drive over maize that early it should come back, which it looks like it has in a lot of places. But that'll probably be a separate video, or we might just throw it into the crop walk video. I'll probably start doing one of them every 2 weeks now. So if you're interested to see how this maize crop and the beet and the barley and all of those are doing, make sure you're subscribed, and we'll have a crop walk coming up very soon. But that'll probably wrap up the video now. So a big thanks to Earth Engineering for the drill and letting us play with it and get it right to sow the maize. It has done a decent job. We'll definitely try to do a better job next year, but we're happy enough, and hopefully the maize will keep going and we should get a nice crop off it this October, but time will tell. If you have any questions about anything in today's video, feel free to leave them down below in the comments, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. But that is it from me today, so I'll see you in the next one.